I love the band.
You like the band?
The band's so good.
Yeah. Quest, it's always fun when you are a guest. I do like having you as a guest. We've done this a couple times.
Yeah.
Before we get into the SNL documentary, I want to mention that you also directed another documentary that's coming out February 13th on Hulu about Sly and the Family Stone.
Yes. Sly wrote the alphabet to which, you know, every book that's written afterwards musically is based on. Like, he created the alphabet, pretty much. Yeah. For pop music, for soul music, and we investigate a lot in this film.
And do you interview him, or we'll find that out?
You'll find that out. Yeah. But yes, his voice is in the documentary.
What is the name of the?
Sly Lives, AKA The Burden of Black Genius.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, congratulations. And that is premiering at Sundance tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
Oh my God. Crazy.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
But now we have to talk about this this SNL. Ladies and gentlemen, 50 years of SNL music. It's on Monday night on NBC. You showed me the first 6 minutes of the doc in my office, and I think I cried. I think when you after you left, I was so teared up because I was so emotional. I was like, it's the greatest opening of any documentary. The audience got to see it before the show. Am I right? It is like, I got goosebumps. As it was happening, I got goosebumps. I go, oh my gosh, how? Just how?
Well, first of all, you know, shout out to our very own John McDonnell, who is just an editing genius.
Yeah, he is brilliant.
And, you know, my co-director, Oz Rodriguez from SNL.
Yeah, Oz.
It took about, honestly, 11 months. Like, Lauren put this in my lap maybe April of 2021, when, like, a year before the Oscars. So pretty much I had about 2.5 years to watch all 900 plus episodes of SNL. And
no, but you actually did, though, watch all 900 plus.
well, initially, you know, in the beginning, I think I was just going to compile, like, maybe the 50 best performances on the show.
Yeah.
But around 87, I realized there was way more iconic comedic moments musically on the show, like surpassing just the legendary performances.
Yeah.
Like, even for you, like I would say, like, your top 3 are all music related. First, you know, the Mick Jagger bit.
Mick.
And then
Mirror.
Cowbell, of course.
Yeah.
And then I would even say with Debbie Downer, like the trombone.
Yeah. That is music, yeah.
Yeah, like,
I was lucky to be in those sketches, man.
But music plays a major part on that show, and most of the iconic sketches that people remember, be it King Tut or, you know, anything Eddie Murphy's done.
Hot Tub, James Brown's Celebrity Hot Tub.
The Lonely Island stuff, like, it's all music related.
Dude, those guys are unbelievable.
Yes.
The Lonely Island guys. But I mean, I just also love that they do such a great, I mean, they crush and change the whole game with Lazy Sunday.
Yes.
But then they did that and they go, yeah, we got another one. And then they do in a box. And they go, okay. And then they got another one and just keep coming. You're like, oh my gosh, they don't stop.
I mean, their story, I mean, it's so, like, their lo-fi approach.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they've invented what we call now the viral video. Like, Lazy Sunday was kind of established YouTube. People didn't know what YouTube was before Lazy Sunday.
Correct.
So, yeah, I mean, it's game-changing is underselling it.
How far back do you go with SNL? Like, what do you first remember?
So this is weird. People that know me know that I have an obsession, and a weird, unhealthy obsession with Soul Train.
Oh my gosh. You definitely do, by the way.
Yeah, and so.
Oh my gosh, it was always on in your dressing room.
Constantly. It's on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing is that in most households, Soul Train was always a 12 in the afternoon experience.
Yes.
But for some reason in Philadelphia, between 75 and maybe 1982, Soul Train was a 1 a.m. experience. So I had parents that were cool enough that would wake me up. I'd have to be in bed at like 8:30 on a Saturday, but they wake me up at like 12:30, midnight.
Yeah.
And SNL, the last half hour of SNL back in the 70s was usually when the 2 music songs come on. So I remember, like, Billy Preston and, like, from 75 on, I just always watched. I was 5, 6. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, me too.
My parents really wanted me to watch anything with music, and so as a result, most music, circuit, like any music part of life in the 70s usually came on after midnight. They just wake me up and watch it. And then I go
What
to
you
bed.
remind everyone with this documentary is the diversity of music. And it's kind of an introduction to so much music for me. Being a kid from upstate New York, I never got to really leave the house or go listen to different bands. And, you know, I would like watch Saturday Night Live and be like, what did I just see?
Yeah, I'll say the first 10 years of SNL was more like everyone's secret, a subculture. And so a lot of these groups you never heard of. We never heard of Talking Heads or Devo or the B-52s or even Keith Jarrett. None of these like weird groups are like abstract jazz groups. For those first 10 years, they were just underground groups. And I feel like around the 20th year is when SNL became the mainstream instead of the underground. So thus like your Nirvanas, your like those groups that are right on the precipice of greatness. And then I'll say for some acts, like Adele's a great example. Before Adele did her very first show, her album was like maybe like number 60 on Billboard.
Yeah.
She just happened to be at the right place at the right time when Tina Fey was doing the Sarah Palin bit and they were
Yes.
together. So everybody was tuned in. And Adele just happened to be on, and instantly her album went from 60 to number 1. So
Overnight.
SNL is such a game changer.
Yeah. And Nirvana, I think, want to say, like, after they were on SNL.
Oh, they started selling
Yeah.
100,000 a week.
discs.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
my first time seeing
Yeah.
Nirvana and going,
Same here.
Again, what in the world was that? But then, so I'm watching this. It's so entertaining. It's got all those great musical performances, but also you've got Mick Jagger talking about
I would say you two are twins. Like I am.
Mick would say that too, probably.
No, but you know, I hear your version of how the Mick Jagger bit started, and to ask him the same question, he literally, like, it's almost like he's doing you. There was one point where I actually was going to simultaneously have you both tell the story at the same time on top of each other because you literally mirrored each other.
Like the exact same story?
Yes. Yeah.
It was a last minute thing, and I was like, I pitched him a zillion ideas, and Lauren was like, please don't do the reflection in the mirror bit.
Right.
And I go, why? He's like, it's just been done. He's like, Lucille Ball did it, the Marx Brothers, just don't do it. I go, okay. So I went in to pitch these ideas to Mick Jagger. I'm nervous, and I go, I got, hi, Mick. And he's like, and I go, you know, you want to do a bit where me and you work at a Sunglass Hut? You know, he's like, no, I don't like that. He's very nice. Very nice, but no, I don't like that. I go, well, how about you're both Keith Richards. He's cloned himself so that he can party with himself. He goes, yeah, no, I don't really like that. And then so I'm going through the list. I probably have 10 ideas. Then last one, he doesn't like anything. And then the last one, I go, maybe it's like you're back and you're in the dressing room. You're like, why am I doing this show? I've done it in the 70s and done it in the 80s. And done, what am I doing different now? And I'm your reflection. He goes, oh, I like that.
Nice. Yeah, I will say that probably the subtext of the entire thing that I want people to get, because I'm always trying to figure out like how to get a message in there for creatives. Every story that we tell always starts with the fear. Like, you didn't want to go to Mick Jagger's thing. You were nervous. Everything starts with a no. Like, Eddie Murphy tells the story of like not wanting to do Hot Tub. He thought it was dumb. Like, why would I be James Brown in a hot tub? But literally every bit starts with a no, and a risk factor comes in, and then it winds up being something historical and changes people. So
How'd you get Eddie to do it?
I stalked him.
Did you really?
No, Rock hooked me up, and
yeah.
he's you know like he's one of the probably the weirdest surprise of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Is I didn't know that he's so adept to like texting culture. Like
is he a good texter?
To this day, he sends me mad. You remember like Pee Wee Herman used to always send like GIFs and everything, and memes.
Yes.
Like Eddie's beyond that. Like he will send.
Eddie Murphy sends memes?
Crazy YouTube stuff, like way more than I text him.
Really?
Yeah. And emojis, like, oh, Eddie Murphy knows what emojis are. Like, yeah.
He's the greatest. Dude, you did such a great job. And as a fan, I mean, it was my dream to be on Saturday Night Live. And as a fan of the show, I love everything. I memorized every single thing about the show. I loved it so much. You handled this with such care. And it's just it's a work of art. And as a fan of the show, I just want to say thank you so much.
It's a passion project.
It is
man.
awesome.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
I want to show a clip. Here's a look at, ladies and gentlemen, 50 years of SNL music. Check it out.
I do remember getting the opportunity to host SNL for the first time, and it was right after a controversial moment in my career where a lot of people were kind of afraid to work with me, which is when Lauren gets excited to work with you the most.
There are a few subjects we're not gonna get into tonight. I'm not gonna do Hannah Montana, but I can give you an update on what she's been up to. She was murdered. And also, we went back and forth on this, but guys, I just don't think we should do that Wrecking Ball sketch.
What? Riley, come on! My mom is here!
I was kind of seen as being like not quite understood or not quite predictable, which is really what this show is all about. He always says it's the tightrope walk. They want to see you dangle. They don't want to see you fall.
That's right. Come on. Questlove, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, 50 years of SNL music premieres January 27th at 8 p.m. on NBC and streams the next day on Peacock. We'll be right back with more Tonight Show. Stick around. Hey, hey.